$100,000 got me stepping up. Jagged pill I swallow, guess I got it stuck. Dancing with my shadow like I'm out of touch. Feeling alright. Rumors started spinning, give me space to breathe. Dripping in your eyeline, this ain't ecstasy. Why you televising what you said to me? Feeling alright. What you got, cause I'm putting it all on the line. Nothing's gonna stop me tonight. What you got, yeah, taking my one at a time. I get knocked down and I get back up. I'm riding high, never sleeping, living for the weekend.
Welcome to episode 158 of Cowboy Shit. My name is Ted Stovin. He is Dustin Edwards. And what do I say? Another one moves out of the basement. Dustin's got... Dustin, you're downtown, man. You got a new place. You got a place for the winter.
Yeah, we're right across from work now. So
That's handy.
The halfway house for degenerates continues to move on another school.
Oh man, I don't know. I guess like I think I've had people live here like at the house besides me. Like I've had a roommate at this house probably since I've lived here. Like I've never not had a roommate. So I guess I kind of have a roommate now with Storm too, but I mean, and the dogs, but you know, outside of that, I've always been somebody around. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. There's usually always, even in all my years of coming in at a 4620, there's always been someone lurking around. But I'm like, I kind of did it like, like when you're young and trying to keep a relationship going. I think I might have left like some underwear in a drawer, Ted, so I have an excuse to come back if I have to, and I'll see ya. So
no, it's all good, man. I'm happy you got a place close by work, because when you got to stick around the dome for the games in the evening, you got like, and you can't really go to work at like 11 a.m. so that you're there for the day. It's still 12 hours that you're there at the building. So
it makes for a long
walk. Yeah, be nice, just walk over. Maybe that'll help your back out, and you can just have relieve some stress a little bit.
That's right. Trying to make it easier. So got a good view of the downtown here, and
awesome.
Yeah.
Congrats on the new place. So on the podcast side of things, this is the last episode in our 6th season. So it's kind of what do I say? I guess it's funny that we did the first show ever. It was like December 1st, 2017. So this is officially the last episode of the 6th year we've been doing the show now. So episode 159 will be on in the middle of the Wrangler NFR. Will be the first episode of the 7th year of the show. So kind of crazy. We've been doing the show for 7 years.
Well, and you know, like a lot of podcasts barely make it 1 year. So
yeah,
I'd say that you're probably one of the longest running Western podcasts going. There's been a lot.
I guess so. That's true. There has been a lot of come and go, but we just try and put out a show every other week. And this week, I got to say that we had a little bit of technical difficulties on the recording side of things from the show. Storm, based on what we got on the recording, it wasn't great, so we had to work on it. And she put some time in, and Sean put some time in to make this show work. My voice was really messed up. I don't know, but like it's just the channel on the mixer, like, but it was a fun show. We talked to Jared Parsonage, Jordan Hansen, and Don Johansen. So Jordan and Jared and Don have all been to the NFR in the bull riding, and Jordan and Jared are going this year together for the first time. They both made it individually, but I think it's going to be pretty cool for those guys to make it at the same time. But man, we got a ton of people going to the Wrangler NFR this year. So we talked to these two guys and kind of like got some insight from Don on going when he went, because he went to the NFR back in 1978 when it was in Oklahoma City. So lots changed since then.
Oh yeah, it's a totally different landscape. And I think having when Jared went to the NFR, he struggled a little bit, but I think having those two guys there,
one.
Yeah, and then it was
didn't have any luck.
Yeah, I think he might have had a reride that he bucked off too, maybe, but
yeah.
I think that having those two guys there and all the Canadians there, I think everybody's just going to be elevated to another level. Like,
yeah,
I think it's going to be cool. It's going to be a big group down there, so it'll be a lot of fun. I think those guys are going to kick some ass.
Well, and I think what is Zeke? Zeke won last year, and he's already got 3. So he could, with if he were to win this year, have the 4th world title and be the most. That would make him the most decorated Canadian rodeo cowboy ever. Like most. Marty Wood's got 3 gold buckles in the bronc riding, but nobody else has won more than 3, right?
I don't think so. I think if he gets 4 Canadian titles, yeah, I don't think I don't think you can't call him not the most decorated.
Right? Yeah. I don't like to throw around the greatest of all time line too lightly, but that's flirting with greatest of all time numbers for Canadian rodeo cowboys anyways, from Big Valley, Alberta.
Well, I liked how during the CFR broadcast, me and Dave kept saying that, the only way to the gold buckle is through Zeke. And then he bucked off, and I read a quote somewhere that he said, "Oh, I hate when everyone says that, the road to the buckle goes through me." I don't know if he doubted himself for that moment, and then he went out there and won the next 4 go rounds. And in fact, the road to the buckle did go through him, and he put up a barricade and won it. So I'm interested to see how the NFR goes this year with all those Canadian guys down there. I think they're going to be just having a blast, and I think you're going to see some big time rides, and it should be fun.
Well, and I hope our ladies in the breakaway do well too. Shelby Beaujolais and Kendall Pearson both making the breakaway too. So hopefully they have a really good run. And the only event that we didn't have a contestant in this year is what the in the barrel racing, right? And I guess the heading and the team roping, because the what the heck? What am I trying to say? The Graham boys didn't quite make it.
Yeah. So someone in the team roping, but not on the heading side. And the breakaway was cool. I think Shelby's gonna have a really good shot. On the Cowboy Channel broadcast, I bookmark standings during the rodeo season.
Yeah.
And I had an old WPRA standings page, and it wasn't refreshed, and she was in second. So on the Cowboy Channel the one night, I think maybe more than one night, I said she was second in the world. And I got lots of messages. So this is my public apology that I didn't say she was actually number 1. I said she was number 2.
And, it happens.
Remember to refresh your WPRA standings browser, folks. But that'll be fun. And they're over in the South Point, I believe, for theirs, right?
Yeah. The first weekend, I believe. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
So it'll be lots of fun. It sounds like there's a lot of people going down, and be a Canada invasion in Vegas with a 72-cent dollar. It should be fun.
Hopefully you had some US dollars saved somewhere.
Yeah.
Might be a little expensive otherwise. Man, I just looking at the Pro Rodeo website. I didn't realize they have a podcast too, called The Shoot Bosses, official podcast of Pro Rodeo. I don't know who this guy is, but I know Tracy. Oh, Barth? Who's Barth? I don't know who that guy is.
Yeah, I think a lot of the pro rodeo associations are introducing podcasts now, so it's becoming fun. And wanting Canadian pro rodeo now as well. It's joining the podcast world.
Yeah. Hopefully it goes great for everyone in the podcast world. We'll just keep plugging away on our side.
Yep.
Anyways, okay, yeah. So I want to talk on like the world title races a little bit. And who kind of was what are we talking about? Like who's kind of in the world title races? So Zeke's right in there obviously in the bronc riding, but in the bareback riding, Oren Larson's like pretty far back, so it's kind of a little unlikely in that side of things, hey?
I'd say in the bronc riding, like Dawson would be in the mix,
and Ben Anderson too.
And Ben, so those guys can make pretty big moves with how much those rounds pay and the average, and
and technically you could say anybody's in it in the bareback riding too if you really want to.
Yeah,
that is true.
Stephen Culling's going in. I think he's 10th in the steer wrestling.
And the steer wrestling's always so tight. Yeah, he's 10th with 104,000, but first is only 193. Yeah, so I guess like $100,000. It's not that crazy. No,
because I mean the go rounds pay so much. The average pays almost 75,000, I think.
Yeah, it's crazy high.
I heard some of the prize money is going to be going up this year, but I haven't seen the actual numbers. But
I have to look at it.
Bo Cooper is probably in the mix in the tie down roping.
Yeah, first is 280 in the tie down, and Bo is going in 11th at 117. So he's 160 back, but he made it. He's there. We got lots of Canadians in the mix, so
Yeah,
it's gonna be interesting to see. Yeah. Man. So NFR is coming up. I don't really want to make any predictions that bad. Do you?
I'm gonna predict that we get 1 gold buckle back to Canada. That's my prediction.
I think, yeah, I guess between Dawson, Ben, and Zeke, they have the best chance.
Yeah.
The rest of the crew, it'd be surprised. It'd be tough, I think, but
Yeah, I predict the saddle bronc riding gold buckle
to Canada,
to Canada.
one of those 3 guys, probably Zeke.
Yeah,
The road to the gold buckle goes through Zeke. What?
and world breakaway roping title too.
Oh, that'd be cool. Okay, so one of the world titles, maybe one of the other. I like it. That's all. My bold predictions for the CFR, I think all of them were completely bad. And the PBR Canada finals, I think I picked Coy Robbins to win both. And then in another pool, I had Cody Kovacic, and I didn't win anything.
Yeah, I had Jake Gardner, and he had a rough CFR, but he won the Maple Leaf finals this week in Regina. Rode all his bulls, won almost like 10 grand in Regina. So.
Oh, really? And I just saw that on the PRCA website too. Does that mean that that counts for something in the PRCA?
Yeah, if you win that, you qualify to the NFR Open.
What is that?
It's like a big, I don't know. It's like a big rodeo.
But it's during the fucking Calgary Stampede. That's a dopey ass time to have a rodeo like that.
It is. I remember a bunch of guys were down on it last year too. So
yeah, during fucking Calgary.
It pays good money.
And they're both PRCA rodeos.
It's in Washington, isn't it?
I thought it was in Colorado Springs.
Yeah.
I think it's fucking during Calgary. What a dumbass time to do that. Anyways, moving on. Sorry.
We digress.
What else we got here? We got PBR Canada finals. Yeah, so great finals there. Huge crowd. Congrats to the PBR Canada champ. Dakota Butter wins 100 grand. Great for Dakota to get the win. Breaks his collarbone on his last ride. He only had it. He broke it like 6 weeks ago in Grand Prairie, and he turned out of the CFR and put all his eggs in the PBR Canada basket, but it worked out. He rode all 4 bulls. Man, there was a ton of rides. I think they set a record for the most rides at any PBR Canada event all season, just in Edmonton, like in the whole world of the PBR. They rode like
riding ranked bulls too. Like in that final round, they rode what, like 8 out of 10 or 7 out of 10. Like it was bizarre. And good bulls.
Yeah, I remember talking to Blaine Feisen after, and it was kind of what would I say? It was kind of crazy because we were talking about he mentioned, he's like, man, I think they rode 11 out of 12. What day was the finals? What day was the last day? The 18th. I'm just gonna look because I'll be able to look it up here.
And like they rode
championship round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 out of 12. Holy fuck. That's insane. Yeah, they rode 9 out of 12 bulls in the short go.
Tyler Craig rode bull of the year, and
from Jim Thompson. Man, congrats to Jim. I'm happy for Jim to go and get that buckle. That's pretty cool for him to go and win a PBR Canada Bull of the Year, which comes with a check for 10 grand now.
Yeah, and I talked to Jim earlier this summer. I was down here in Calgary, and I was chatting with him on the phone, and I said, "Is that bull in the contention for Bull of the Year?" And he goes, "Oh, he might be," and he goes, "That'd sure be darn cool." And he was pretty humble about it, and it's pretty cool. He's a guy that kind of has quietly gone about his business in the contracting game, and he's had some fantastic bulls, and he had that bull, and I think he had another one that was in that final round as well. That was really good too. So
yeah, time marches on, the one Dakota rode.
Yeah, so pretty cool for all the contractors, and especially for Jim to get that Bull of the Year. So
pretty terrible song to try and play in the short round though, Jim. Sorry, but I can't really throw that one in very often. But I gotta say,
was that Tracy Lawrence Time Marches On?
I think so. Like, great song, just not a great song for the short round when your ranked bull's about to go. There's some bull names that really work out, but that one on the music side, it's a little tricky.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to talk about Happy Camper retiring. That had to be one of the highlights of the finals for me, to get, for that bull to retire. He's always been great, but then buck off 3-time champ of the world Silvano Alves in your last out. Like, that was a pretty strong finish.
Yeah, that was a good way for Happy to go. And And the
yeah.
fact that retired in contention for the Bull of the Year as well, right? So
Absolutely. Yeah, right amongst it. So yeah, Jared Parsonage. There's 4 guys rode all 4 bulls. Macaulay Leather, that's the name to watch. I think that guy's gonna do some damage in the big leagues too.
the Australian guy.
Yeah, holy smokes. Does some strong work. So yeah, just outstanding finals though in Edmonton. The best one yet, most successful
I-
finals we've had yet. The PBR finals there in Edmonton. Gonna be interesting to see how both events go next year with the CFR and PBR Canada finals, not too far apart in Edmonton at Rogers Place, but looking forward to seeing how it goes.
Yeah. Be a weekend earlier next year with the new dates that were announced. So it'll be November, is
Yeah.
it 8th, 9th next year, I think. So
Correct. Yeah.
yeah, it'll be about 6 weeks after the CFR, 5 weeks after the CFR wraps up that the PBR will run. So I know lots of folks from the rodeo world were checking things out at Rogers on the weekend. So yeah, I think it'll be good to see both these events and hopefully both be successful.
Yeah. Here's to hoping it. It might take a couple of years, I think, for the crowd to come back to the CFR in Edmonton in the same capacity that they were there. So
Yeah.
the attendance previously, and I think we talked about this lots before, but previously used to be like 90,000 through 6 performances over 5 days. Like in Red Deer, it's been about, I want to say, like 40 to 45 maybe. So I think the goal for next year is about that 40, 45 number for next year in Edmonton. I'm totally guesstimating, but I thought I heard that number thrown up by somebody at one point. So
Yeah, and that's with one less perf too, right? So you're averaging like 9,000 over
9,000
5
a perf.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully we get the big crowds, and hopefully both do really good, and we have record attendance at, I guess maybe it won't be record attendance for CFR for a few more years, but hopefully record attendance for the PBR Canada finals next year, and hopefully it's a big boost. Hopefully it's a great CFR too. So we will see.
Yep.
In the meantime, though, here's the interview this week. Talked to, like I said before, Jared Parsonage, Jordan Hansen, and Don Johansen. You get kind of two or three, two different eras of bull riders here in the show, and one part of our CFR interviews from this year's finals in Red Deer. And we got a few more of these throughout the winter that we'll roll through. Got a couple more interviews that we're working on for this winter as well. But enjoy the show here with Donnie Joe, Jared, and Jordan. Thanks to my co-host Dustin Edwards. Appreciate you doing this, and see you all in a bit. Talk again.
Sister cries out from her baby bed. Brother runs in, feathers on his head. Mama's in her room, learning how to sew. Daddy's drinking beer, listening to the radio. Hank Williams sings Elijah and Dear John. And time marches on.
A 2016 Canadian champion bull rider, making his 3rd trip to NFR, Jordan Hansen, and a 3-time Canadian champion, twice in the bull riding, once in the all-around. In the middle here, Mr. Jared Parsonage, and the 1978 Canadian champion in the bull riding. And hey, it's the dates. I'm sorry, I'm just a stat guy, Don. I can't change what the date was, but and same year won the George Ball, right? 79, and then what NFR was 78 as well. Yeah. And the shoot boss at the CFR for at least 30 years. So Mr. Don Johansen on the far right. So thanks everybody for being here today. It's kind of our bull riding show to get things going. But so Don has put on schools for over 40 years, and I thought, well, we're on the highway today, and Don was going south, I was going north, and I was like, hey, do you want to come do the show today? You've probably been in the shoot with these guys before, or been shoot bossing them. So I just want to talk about your experience with these two guys, Donnie and how great they've done in their careers so far too. So we'll kick off with you.
Yeah, thanks, Ted. Maybe. But no, anyways, it's great to be up here with these guys. They're great bull riders. And you went to our steer riding school. And did you go to the bull riding school too? You went to the steer riding school, and you went to two steer riding schools and stuff. And it's great to see these kids when you teach them at the school, and they're this big and they grow up to be as successful as they have been. It's quite an honor. And you know, for these guys to make it, like Jordan, I think you're the leader right now, and the next generations of bull riders, you going down, making the NFR, and then getting Jared to go with you. But it was like me when I was around. It was the Brian Claypool, the Bob Robertson, the John Dodds that got us down the road to make the NFR, and that's a great honor for both of you guys to keep it going, because I know there's going to be some kids following your footsteps, and it's the same with Zeke Thurston helping them young guys, and that's really important, and that's a good job.
So do you remember these guys at the schools at all and knew that they were going to be good back then, Donnie, or what?
No, neither one could ride worth a shit. No, sorry. No, they rode good. They rode good. But I do remember. Yeah, for sure I do. Yeah, the kids.
And Jared, what's your memory of going to the school, like back when you were in the steer ride? And I'm curious about that. What do you remember?
Well, it was a total foreign thing to me. I wasn't supposed to be a bull rider, supposed to be a team roper, gap roper, something like that. So going there, and I knew who these guys were, and like the Johansen brothers and Donnie and what all they'd done. And yeah, it was. I don't remember a whole lot. I hate to say, but that's getting to be quite a while ago now. That I just remember that being a kid wanting to ride steers, and figured if you're going to figure out how to ride steers, that was the place to go, and learned so much. I probably didn't remember any of it, but I was gung ho.
Jordan, what about yourself?
Yeah, same as Jared. That's going to be a while ago, so hard to remember all of it. But yeah, definitely. Obviously knew the Johansen name. They definitely had quite the legacy. So, if I wanted to be a steer rider or want to ride bulls, I knew that was the place to do it. So, but yeah, I remember I didn't stay on that good. I think Don's line a little bit saying that I rode good because I really didn't ride steers or the shit. But,
was it the change to one hand for you? Well, I remember talking about this before, but the steer ride, did not work real well for you, like you're saying.
No, I tried for 3 solid years and never made even an amateur final. So yeah, but as soon as I went one-handed, it was night and day difference, and just getting on bulls, just bigger animals. It was seemed a lot easier for me.
One of my first memories of Don was in the chute in Ponoka. Like I'd never been anywhere, never done nothing, and showed up in Ponoka. And then I think you told me like, hey, maybe you should come to the school next year, because I hadn't even been to a school or nothing. I just showed up at Ponoka one year, but Donnie's in there in the chute and helped me out, and makes me wonder, like, what about you guys? Like, what's your memory of Don as a chute boss too? Start with you, Jordan.
Oh, I'm sure.
How many times did he cuss you? I mean,
I was going to say, I'm sure I got yelled at for sure for taking too long. I don't remember when that was. Probably first, it must be when I was probably 18, going to pro rodeos, probably in Ponoka. Yeah, I'm sure I was taking too long on Franklin Bull, and I was probably nervous on Franklin Bull. So, yeah, that was probably one of my that's probably one of my last memories there, first memories.
Oh, mine, I could probably be pretty general. I was probably pretty wide-eyed. When I came out here and started going, I'd never really been around, even in the steer ride out west, never knew anybody, and knew who Donnie was, and it was probably like Ponoka, but I do remember that, just like he knew who I was, and I was like, nah, he doesn't know who I was. The only reason he knows who I am is because he's seen my name on the program. But that's pretty cool.
Well, I remember that time I remember going there, and I got a re-ride, and Donnie already had my rope hung on the cow, and I ran over to the chute, jumped on, and he was like, okay, sit up. And he was like getting me to like sit up on your rope and do this and that. And I was like, okay, all right, cool. And then just like jump out and actually stay on one. It was kind of a bit of a surprise, but what about, to talk about the schools a little bit, Don, like, and what made you guys ever want to start those, and how did that happen? Was it kind of family first, or what happened with the schools for them to get going?
Well, actually, it started with me, Winston Bruce, Ernie Marshall, and John Scott.
And so Ernie's rodeo clown.
Yeah.
John Scott is the movie horse stuntman, right? Yeah.
And 2 guys.
And Winston Bruce is Calgary Stampede.
Yeah, and 2 guys from the Calgary Stampede wanted to put a steer riding school in Calgary Stampede. And so I went to it, and then I learned, and then my younger brothers were learning, and then we started putting them on, and we started back in 73.
And now you've passed it on to Jesse and like Jesse Torkelson and Scott Schiffner, both Canadian champions as well.
Yeah, and they're doing it now, and it's going. And we've learned a lot of things over the years how to teach it. And it's reading the kids. Each kid's different, and you got to read them right, when to boost them up, when to set them down. And
what do you think about me when I was at the schools?
I
Forgot to ask that one.
Yeah, well, there wasn't a counselor in Balzac at the time.
Well, is that why it turned out like this?
No, it's reading the kids and the stock's the number one thing. I don't care what it says on your buckle. If you don't have the right stock for a school, you can't put on a good school. You got to have the right stock.
Jordan, I wanted to ask you about, Donnie mentioned it, how you were going back to the, like one of the first guys, I think it was 2001, right? Before you made it in 2016, 17?
17 was
17. So there was a huge gap though for like 16 years where nobody from Canada made the finals. And that year there was 3 in 2001. But this is also the first year where both of you guys have made it together, which is pretty awesome. No, these two. Yeah, first time they've made it together, because Jared went on his own last year, and Jordan, you were on your own in 19. So yeah. Jared's second time this year, and you're third. But you get to go together, which is awesome. Like, it's cool that you guys get to both make it at the same year. But what was it like for you to be the first one to go after such a big long gap?
You know, I was kind of surprised that it took that long. You know, there's a lot of really good guys that you know, went down there, but I think, you know,
who was close in that gap? I'm trying to think of who was, like, I know Posey was pretty close a couple of years, but just never, like, didn't quite get the full season in.
Yeah, who else was close? Like,
Tanner and Scott.
Yeah, I was
16th a couple times.
I think Schiffner actually ended up 16 3 times.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, so he was close, and you know, I'm sure there's a few other guys that, you know, made a run for it. Just, you know, a couple guys just never did quite get there, I guess.
But sorry, go back to the question I interrupted you. What was it like to be the first guy to, and more so, I was kind of wondering what the motivation was to go do it down there, because you had already been in the PBR shows and already had success in Canadian rodeo. But what was the motivation to go on the PRCA side?
You know, just growing up, it was always a goal, always a dream to be at the NFR, and you know, had a little bit of success, and you know, had made the Canadian finals, and that was just kind of the next one on my list, was to make the NFR. You know, and you know, riding bulls for a living, you know, and that was to make the most money. That seemed to be the place to do it. So, you know, I guess I'm a little more wooden headed than some. I just kind of kept doing it until I finally did make it.
You mentioned making a living riding bulls, so you do, like, you guys both do compete in the PBR and in the PRCA, but more so only in the PBR events in Canada lately. And there's a pretty good amount of money that I can win. Like, Jared, you won 30-some thousand at the finals last year in Edmonton, I think, right? And now there's $100,000 bonus if a guy can make all the events next year. I don't know what all is going to be going on, but like, you guys are both, like, you're pretty close in contention for Edmonton in a couple weeks too, for $100,000.
Yeah, no, they're really making it hard to leave Canada. Actually, you know, with all the money up here anymore, it's easy to get comfortable and stay home, to be honest. But no, it is awesome. You know, to have a chance to win 100,000, it's you know, big for everybody.
Jared, I remember last year, the NFR, it didn't go great for you. Like, I just kind of want to ask you about how that went, what the week was like for you, and what, you know, like, it's probably a huge motivator to get back this year.
Oh yeah, well, to be honest with you, I've never been a very good one at leaving home. Hate leaving home, and that's kind of why I've never done it until last year. Just kind of in a position to where I had to go, kind of thing, and don't regret it one bit. And it didn't go good. There's no doubt about that. And you know, it can either make you do one thing, you either throw your sucker in the dirt and quit, or get mad. And it kind of, you know, frustrated me, and I knew I could do better. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to go again this year. Probably if I'd have done good there last year, I'd have never won again this year. So I did good. I wanted to go again and say, hey, I can do that again. And I guess it worked out. So
I got to go ask Don now too, because I remember telling me a story about going to the finals, and it was a different experience. And that was in Oklahoma City at the time too, wasn't it? In 78.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
But it was a totally, like, it got, like you said, your nerves were all off, and like it really messed with you a bit, right?
It's like anything, you know, it's just like when go to your first amateur finals, you're nervous, right? You go to your first CFR, like the first 2 CFRs I bucked off my first bull. And then I rode the rack, you know, and then it went on from there. But you get that nervous. So you walk down in that building and you're with the top guys of the world, and it's nervous, and it's going to be great for you two guys to be in together. I'll guarantee if anybody's going to get anybody in the draft, I'd pick one of these 2 guys, because with the 2 of them together, because it is nervous. Like, I lost just about 7 pounds when I went to the NFR. I was so nervous I didn't eat.
And that was before it was even in Vegas. Like, he wasn't even drinking. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but it's my body handled it. But when I was done, my mind, I was wore out. I was done. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah.
When you go home, because every night you walk into that dressing room, you're getting on a rank ball, and it just mentally wore me out. Like I said, my body was good. It's just my mind was beat for about a month after.
Oh, for sure. Like I can, yeah, like Donnie says, he's totally right. Like I'd been to the PBR World Finals before that, and it felt nothing like the NFR did. It felt like I was going to, the something way smaller. The NFR growing up, I think any Western sports fan in the world can probably agree with me that the NFR is the epitome of Western sports, leaps and bounds at the time, like what goes on there in Vegas and the hype around those yellow buck and shoots and that yellow arena and everything. And I don't care what event you grow up in. If you watch or are part of it, you want to go and be there and kind of thing. So yeah, it's a different ball game.
What, sorry, you guys have something? Seemed like you wanted to say something there, Jared.
Oh, no.
No? Donnie? Any advice for these guys going back again? I know they've already been there on their own before.
Just have fun.
Yeah?
I'm not kidding you. That's the thing. I did have fun, but I needed to loosen up. You know what I mean? Like a little bit. And that's the thing. I'd just go down there just like it's going anywhere else and just have fun. And with the two of you together, it's going to make a huge difference. I'll guarantee you. You guys are going to do good.
What about the Canadian Bulls this year? I saw that Hansen had about 5. Is that right? Going down to the finals, or how many did he have? 4. 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the first alternate is one of his too.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
So, yeah.
What was the bull picking like? It's kind of nice to have both of you guys there to know a lot of the bulls up here. Well, I'm curious. You're kind of smirking. There's 2 of us, so maybe just bully them around.
It's a complete shit show, is what it is.
Is it?
There's too many bulls, and we know strictly the Canadian bulls. That is about it. So we just sit there quietly until the Canadian contractors come up, and then they look at us and take our opinion. We just say take all of them, but they do.
But like all jokes aside, we're pretty fortunate in Canada. It's come a long ways and always has been. There's a good set of bulls up here, and they really showed. Hansen Bull takes all them bulls to the Northwest in the fall, and that's the pen you want to be in. There's no doubt about it, and it's proven in the numbers they got to the NFR and stuff like that. There's, they're consistent, they're big, strong, and buck, and we're pretty lucky up here. We got a good set of bulls.
Which who else has a few? I didn't see the list lately, and I don't remember, but who else has got a couple going down there
From
up here?
Mox's got 3.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Did you see the list too, Don?
Yeah.
Kessler's got 2.
Two.
Yeah.
Kessler.
Is one of them the bull of the year from up here too? Is that right? Chester.
Yeah.
Okay. And now the Devil's Advocate, would that be the other one? Maybe?
That's the other
Big white.
one. Yeah. That's the most there's been in quite a few years for sure.
You both I guess the year you won Calgary, that didn't help you get to the finals, did it? It sure helped you this year though, Jared, didn't it? For a bunch of that money to count, eh?
Yeah, it helps. I wish it would all counted. I don't know.
Yeah, it's too bad.
What it took and what it takes now to get to the NFR. I think I counted 37,000 out of there, and the bottom guy had 128,000. It doesn't really sound like that much. Or like, I had 141 this year, so it made a big difference. But it dang sure takes some big hits. I would have gladly took the extra 25,000 in September.
Would have been a lot less miles for you
Less stress. Yeah, less stress.
It's like you guys both had a lot won, but you were never really in until like the last couple weeks essentially. Or when did you guys feel like you were in for sure?
Oh, I know.
Over first.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, you never do feel safe until October 1st. I felt a little more safe, I guess, than Jared did. Just after Ellensburg Extreme Bulls, and then made some Pendleton Extreme Bulls. I think after that, well, I was obviously comfortable enough because I went home. I got run over by 5 of the last 7 bulls I got on. I was kind of sick of bull riding at that point. I went home and I said, "Sorry, Jared, you're on your own for the last 4 weeks here." But he's left me stranded for the last 5 years, so I figured it's fair.
So what's it been like though for you guys to both be down there together and have success together down there, but get to travel with each other? Like it's gotta be a bonus, because there was years where you were by yourself, like you just mentioned, 5 years on your own. But now did I hear that Coy is with you guys too a little bit? Is that right, or is that only here? Or where?
Yeah,
Or is that
he's with us until we start beating him, and then he started staying in Canada. Okay, I hope he is here listening somewhere, because I give him shit for that in person too. It's funny how it worked. He was winning, and we do get a couple big tour rodeos. We get close to him in the standings. Then he wouldn't come the next weekend. He'd go to all the Canadian rodeos. Then he'd get ahead, and then I got some room. So then he'd come again, and we'd catch him, and then he'd leave again. Next thing you know, he's like, I'm not entering no more with you guys.
Really?
Yeah.
But so would he have had a chance to get to make it too, or did he kind of give up on it earlier? Did he spend much time with the PBRs or
No,
up here? Like, what do you say?
he wasn't consistently coming all year. I think he could have had a chance. It would have took a couple big hits for sure, but he still ended up to like around 30.
30s,
he still did good for the amount that he came down for sure. I think if there was another solid month of him coming, he might have stood a chance actually. And there's a couple other ones like Colorado Springs. He didn't end up going to that. That could have been a big hit for sure as well.
Okay.
That goes back to like the guys pushing it a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like I had Bob Robertson, and when I was hot, he would just start entering me, and I'd jump on him, and he wouldn't come with me. He wasn't winning as much, and I'd be going to Diamond, Oklahoma by myself. Didn't know a clue who was down there, and it's that guy pushing you, like Ryan Claypool. Those guys would push you a little bit more to get you going, and sometimes just you need that person or that edge to push somebody to keep them going.
Oh, big time. I agree. I think Coyle he did super good every time he come down there. He did really well, and he's going to do very successful. There's no doubt about it already and stuff. And I think that's something like we've seen in our career, like me and Jordan going together all these years now. If one guy's doing good, it's like, well, I need to be doing that good too. And it's kind of, I think probably have done a lot to make each other better through the years of just like, you're only as good as the guy you're with. There's no doubt about that. So yeah, it's a big part of it. That's for sure.
Oh, your traveling partners, once you hit a certain level in the sport, your traveling partner will make you take it that next step above.
Yeah.
Who did you travel with the most, Don? Who were some of your favorite traveling partners when you were going?
Well, like Bob Robertson, Brian Claypool. Like Brian was fearless. He was just fearless. Like so they kept you going to the rodeos and entering you and making you good. And like I always say, you travel with winners, you become a winner. If you travel with a loser, you become a loser.
Yeah, it doesn't take long.
It doesn't take long. It happens real fast. But like over the years, honestly, and it's been said by other rodeo athletes too, that your traveling partners probably, after you hit that level is number one.
Yeah. Yeah, and you do have to live with them too, so you better damn sure get along with them, because you're gonna see them a lot more than your family really. So
like I grew up with Steve Dunham,
What is travel like for you guys right now? Like you guys both have young kids at home. Jared, you got another one on the way here too for the winter. Congrats on that.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. No, we're both on the same program, and it's always been that way. Been together for a long time here traveling, so we're on the same program. We're not the guys that spend 2 days hanging out just to go at the lake or anything like that. If we got a chance to get home, we're in a hurry to get home, see the family for a few days, whatever it may be. And yeah, it's kind of, it's a business, but then at the same time, part of that's keeping yourself happy at home too. So it's a big part. I think I can say that for both of us to get home.
So how many days is it like on the road or back home as far as things like Donnie, when you were going, like you went and you were gone for like 6 months, like you barely got home.
Yeah, like I lived out of there because at one point, like Bob and them guys are retired, and I was going down there. I lived out of Wichita Falls, Texas, and then I lived out of Kimball, Nebraska with Lonnie Wyatt, who went to the NFR. Because I had no one to go home, so I was gone a lot. Like I just zip home for the bigger Canadian rodeos and then back down and stay down there. I lived out of Dallas for 2 months, and it was harder when you didn't have a partner.
Yeah.
But for you guys now, like, are you parking a truck sometimes? Are you renting a car? Are you like always driving? Are you like, there's got to be a mix of flying a little bit. Like, I don't know. I see you guys when I see you, but I don't know what the logistics are otherwise right now.
Yeah. Well, we hate flying, so we usually try to avoid that at all costs. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Why do you hate flying?
We don't like people mainly.
Okay.
Confined spaces. with people we don't like. Yeah, it's just it's not good. Yeah, it's
The people at airports.
yeah, that's just
Airport people.
people at
Okay.
airports is more.
I get it now. I know what
Yeah.
you mean. But you're driving as much as you can.
Yeah, I mean, for last year, we drove the truck and camper down for Fort Worth, and then we just parked it down there, and then we didn't bring it home till after Houston, I guess. So
But then you are flying back in a little bit.
yeah. So then flying
It's easy. It's direct from Houston or
yeah, a direct flight from Calgary to Houston, so it's not too bad, And when you got layovers in Denver every weekend, then it really sucks. But that's something we did last year. But summer and fall year, we didn't hardly fly at all. Obviously, Jared did a little bit here this end of the season, trying to get from California to Texas to Arkansas and everything in between. But yeah, we usually try to drive as much as we can. We bought a truck together actually this year in April, and I think we put about 60,000 on it from April till, well, I guess September. But yeah, try to drive ideally.
And then I think a big part of it, well, you could probably back in like your career, the rodeos up here in Canada are all like, for the most part, are Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They're Sunday performances, and all the big rodeos in the Northwest don't have a Sunday performance. Or like, I don't even know if there's any in Utah with Sunday performances. Really nothing in Utah. So you can start your week that works like, I know it sounds crazy, but I live closer to Salt Lake than I do to Grand Prairie. So it's easy for like to come from home and like drive and, we'll go there, make a little loop down, however, up around the Northwest and finish our weekend and up here in Canada for a couple rodeos Sunday after a Sunday 1 o'clock perf, go home, spend Monday at home, say like Tuesday night, head out, hit the road and start down there Wednesday and make a little circle and you get a day or two at home and get refreshed. And yeah, you can't beat that.
And so both of you guys home, Amos for you now, Jordan, which has been like
3.5 years. Yep. Yeah. 4 years this spring. Yep.
and up kind of close by Sarah's family.
Yeah. About a half-hour drive from her folks. So yeah, that was one of the the bigger reasons to move out there. Just for how much I'm gone, or now having the kids and everything, it was a big help for her. I felt awfully guilty leaving her with a bunch of Brahma cows at that too, with no help. So, having her family close, it's been awesome.
And so, because both of you guys are ranching at home, and you got, like you say, you got a bunch of cows at home, and like same for you too, Jared. Like you guys are both ranching during the week and kind of during the winter. Like, who's looking after everything while you guys are gone too?
Yeah, I'm more of a hobby rancher.
Oh, hobby rancher.
I am. Let's say I don't make much money on it. I try to set it up to for them to be fairly self-sufficient. Put out a bunch of feed, let them bale graze, and obviously. But Sarah, no, I couldn't do it without her. She's got 2 kids now in the tractor with her doing chores and everything. So yeah, no, she's the superstar of that for sure. Yeah, but Jared, he's got a few more cows to take care of than I do.
Oh, yeah, I'm pretty lucky. It's some family outfit. So, I've been there for, I guess, I don't know, I'm the 5th generation, Cade's the 6th, and been there for quite a while. So, yeah, mom and dad were living in the same yard and stuff. So, like during the winter, it's just pretty easy that way. And then I've been lucky. I had to say this, my grandparents are still there. My grandpa, he'll be 90 years old in December here. And we put up a bunch of feed and stuff, and he'll spend 5-6 hours in the tractor all the time and stuff like that. So I'm lucky, and mom and dad are rodeo people, grew up around it and big supporters of it. And they really, there's never don't go, nothing like that. I feel guilty sometimes, but at the end of the day, it'll get done. And, lucky with tall Sarah at home, she takes care of everything, the kids and stuff. So yeah, pretty lucky that way. And at the end of the day, the ranch will always be there. Work will eventually get done. Sometimes you wonder when, but it does get done.
Well, your kids are going to give it back to you. You'll be doing the same thing. It goes in a big circle.
I'm lucky I got girls. At least they'll take care of me.
Oh, those barrel racers, they don't cost much. They're real cheap, aren't they?
Johnny, I wanted to ask about just like if these guys, they probably know a bit of the story, but like you won more money at the George Paul than you did at the NFR. Like things really changed on what the NFR pays now and the CFR compared to when you competed to when they are now. Like these guys got it a lot better, I think, than you had it as far as payout went.
Well, right. It paid $585 to win a round. I held the most points record there for quite a few years of 6 bulls, and I think I won. I don't know,
like
what
4,200, wasn't it?
No, in the CFR I won I think it was 2,400 or something like that. And then I went to the NFR, and if I took my same places, I figured it out a few years ago. If I took I won the total that year, I won $4,800 between the NFR and CFR, or 5,200. And if I took the same places here about 5 years ago, I'd win $108,000.
Oh, jeez.
But mind you, my truck only cost me $4,800.
So yeah, you guys bought a truck. It probably cost you 40 or 50 grand.
Yeah, keep putting zeros on that.
But,
Yeah.
And hotel rooms were a lot cheaper, everything. It was a lot cheaper, but still, it's great to see, you know what I mean? And it treated me good. It's like anything else, you treat the sport with respect, it'll treat you back with respect. And I did well off it. I was great. I'd never change it.
Like Don said, I was just, like, I think that's neat what he said there. You treat their sport with respect and it'll treat you back with respect. I think, I got wife and kid. That's how I met my wife and family and friends and everybody else and all these connections. I think you can resonate that, like what you do for a living now and what you've been through and the friends you have, that a lot of this comes from rodeo. It's just not the money and all that stuff. There's a lot of other stuff that comes from this. And like that said, I think that's a pretty good saying. Treat it with respect and it'll treat you back with respect.
Yeah, no, I can't really hardly top what these guys saying, but the memories and the friends, I don't think you can hardly put a price on all that throughout the years. The money's great and all, and it helps pay the bills, but when we're old and crippled here at one point, we might not have money, but we will have stories.
So Canadian Finals, the 49th edition here in Red Deer. Don, you're here for a couple days. You guys are obviously here for the week, but let's start with you and work our way down. Just what you guys looking most forward to this week. Maybe it's a bull that you're hoping to draw, or just being here at the finals. But Don, let's start with you.
I just hope everybody has a good rodeo, and nobody gets hurt, no stock gets hurt or anything else. Just a good rodeo, and everybody ride with their best ability, and that's try. Yeah.
Well, and I didn't mention it earlier, but Don's a member of the Hall of Fame. Went in 2005, that's right, 2011 Hall of Fame inductee, but also part of the Strathmore Stampede Committee. What's it been like being on the committee side after competing for so long? Would you have done things differently as a contestant if people on committee earlier?
No, yes or no, but when you're on that side, you see it. It's like anything else. You don't realize the work that everybody does on a committee. Years ago, they used to make you, if you wanted to make the CFR, you had to judge 2 rodeos.
Really?
If you didn't judge or there was a PRCA.
Really?
Yeah, to make the NFR, you had to judge 2 rodeos.
Really?
And if you didn't judge, you had to pay for the judge. If they hired a judge.
So did Donnie Gay ever judge, or just pay the guy?
He just paid the guy. And I judged 1 rodeo and
Hated it.
I didn't hate it. I can't afford to lose too many friends, and I think I lost a few that. So, I'm judging ain't my thing. I can't afford to lose any more friends.
Going back to this week, Jared, talk about just what you're looking forward to.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I look forward to the whole week. It's, it's a great opportunity. It's something, all this stuff in the fall is what we work towards all year. So, every time, especially I think as you get older and stuff, you realize how fortunate you are to be here and, the opportunities that are ahead and, the chances there is to win lots of money. And, it's, I don't know, it's just, it's exciting to get a chance at this every year. And hopefully you hope every year when you start the year, you get to be here. So it's cool to be here.
Yeah, same for me. Like Jared said, we work for it all year, and you kind of, like you say, you get a little older, you don't take it for granted as much. It's pretty cool to be here. All the money up and everything, and just looking forward to ride to the best of your ability, and have your close friends, them doing the same, and a lot of great guys here, a lot of great bulls. So just looking forward to great week of bull riding.
The last couple of weeks we were Saskatoon last weekend. I guess you guys were out there. Medicine Hat, you won the show. You won Friday in Saskatoon as well. But is this kind of how does this time of the year compare to earlier in the season? Like before, you're gone most of the week. You're, like you say, Jared, you're leaving on Tuesday, getting back Sunday night, maybe early Monday morning. But these last couple of weeks, it's kind of been like go for a couple days, like go for 2 days, go for 1 day. it's kind of, it has to be a little bit of a slower part of the year, kind of leading into these finals. Is that right? Or am I kind of missing a few shows in the meantime?
Well, I don't know what you think, but this last couple weeks, I don't even hardly feel like I'm a bull rider.
Yeah, I know.
On every other weekend.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a big change of pace for sure compared to, you go through August, in 30 days, I bet you get on 26 bulls, give or
In
take.
24 places.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So,
And you're not home at all in August.
right. Not very,
I mean,
not
for
very much.
a couple, like in 1 or 2 nights.
Yeah, pretty much. So that it is nice. It's nice being home. I'm sure Jared probably agree with me. It's definitely nice being home. Get your stuff done a little bit too, and I enjoy it. The body gets a little beat up too. Through the summer and the fall.
That was kind of my point. Like your body kind of has to heal. Like you're only getting on a couple more a couple bulls compared to 7 a week. You're getting on 2. But sorry, go ahead, Don.
Yeah, I think the body, yes, but I think it's more the mind.
Yeah.
You get tired, you want to go home. You know what I mean? You sort of know it.
Yeah.
You know when it's time to go home, you had enough. You're not putting effort in. But I think it's more the mind that needs a break than the body.
Yeah.
Most times.
Yeah, I think especially when the body's hurting, your mind is shutting down right behind it. Like this, even for me in Pendleton this year, like I said, I was pretty banged up, got run over a bunch, and wore out, and I pretty much just made the decision of I'm flying home, and I need a break, pretty much. So
Yeah, I can say I was fortunate this fall, stayed pretty healthy. I think my body was probably as good or better than, getting on every day. I was in really good bull riding shape, but my mind had enough by the end of it. It was time. Like, I don't know, I guess I got a question for Donnie. I'd like that. You ever keep track of how many bulls you got on every year? And you're like some of those years?
Yeah, well, the one year there, I entered 132 rodeos. That back then it was going to more rodeos. I entered 132, and I went to 118 rodeos.
So like with some of those big winter ones, 140, 50 bulls?
Oh yeah, like it'd be a 6-header at Fort Worth, or Puyallup was
Right.
like a 4-header. Like you lived in Denver because you got on darn near every third day. You got on a bull in Denver, in Fort Worth and them, and you just got on a pile of bulls.
Yeah, I think that's something like, well, we can all probably speak to that, going down there and being up here, the guys in Canada forgetting, like the bronc riders that go down there and all that, how many bulls you get on. Like I got a ton of respect for those top guys down there, the amount of bulls they get on every year. You come up here, you go to 30 rodeos and you're 20 PBRs, 25, so you get on 40 bulls at the PBRs, 30 at the rodeos, maybe 70 through the year, 75. Well, I know I'm at like 115, 120, probably about 120 before this week starts and stuff. So there's quite a few bulls that buck pretty hard left in the year.
Yeah.
And I think, like Jordan, you're probably comparable. We've done the same thing all year. So I think I got a ton of respect for the guys that do that now, having done that, and like what it takes to get on that amount of bulls. Like you say, back, these guys didn't have the same sports med or all that stuff we had in the miles. And I know their $4,800 pickup trucks was not quite as fancy as this $100,000 one that's sitting out here. So the miles were maybe a little rougher too, and stuff like that. So I think that's pretty darn cool what Donnie said about getting on all those bulls.
I agree. Yeah, that's for us. Yeah, I mean I think we both entered around 90 rodeos, something like that. Obviously, I turned out quite a few. Jared turned out lots too. But yeah, I mean, sometimes I look at the truck we got and like, oh, geez, I wish it had this and that, but I couldn't imagine doing that amount of driving in a $4,800 pickup. I'm not gonna lie.
It was probably nice at the time.
Yeah, it very well could have been. I guess when you don't know any different, that's it.
Yeah, probably had a nice AM radio,
Yeah.
cassette player.
Window air conditioning.
Yeah. So how are you guys feeling right now? And then going into this week, it's a big week. You got at least 6. Hopefully no re-rides. Hopefully you just can ride your 6 bulls and do well. Then 2 weeks we got Edmonton, and then it's kind of like a 3-week break. I'm curious about that 3-week break. What does that look like for you guys? Like you're already saying you don't feel like a bull rider getting on like 2 or 3 a weekend, where you're probably going to have a bit of a break there, right? Like you're probably not going to any, sorry, go ahead, Don. But
Do you guys go to the practice pen between here and then, or do you not?
Well, yeah, I don't know. Last year for me, the way everything filled in didn't have much of a break because the CFR was a week later and then the PBR finals filled in. There was only 10 days off. But I've kicked it around and I don't know, we've talked about it. We know the rodeo coach pretty good there at Olds College. So I think, it depends how it's all shaken out and if a guy's healthy and everything to go get on a couple like Hansen Bold treats us pretty good and get on a couple bulls that buck pretty hard and get freshened up a week before might not be a bad idea.
Yeah. Rather than going in with nothing, like just kind of taking a couple weeks off, you'd rather get on another one there is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think especially like I said, if you're healthy and like things haven't, say these couple weeks don't really go how you think they should or something like that, might not hurt to go sharpen the tools a little bit.
But if things all go well, would you just roll in or would you still get on one? Like I'm kind of trying to feel out what your thoughts are.
I'll be feeling it out too.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I'm same as Jared. I mean, if you're feeling good and say you ride all your bulls, it's I don't know how bad I'd really want to, I guess, just to drive the Olds to get on some, but if it's something you need, if there's some things might need to fix a couple tools and stuff like that, damn sure we might be calling some friends to run some bulls in. But
okay, I was curious though, because I wanted to know what your thoughts were, because it's I remember I never rode that good, but I felt like when I was getting on lots, I was doing better, and it sounds like that's kind of what it is for you guys too, in some capacity. Like if you're only getting on one a week, and if you fall off one, then you'll get on another one for 10 days. It doesn't seem right, does it?
it seems like I don't know about Jared, but it seems like it's always turns into a last minute decision, like a little bit. Probably be after Edmonton, see how things feel, see what bulls are available too, I guess see what ones they'll let us get on too. Yeah. Might have to give Hansen a couple cases of beer. That I think it'll probably just be on things you play by ear and see how you're feeling.
I think probably like what Donnie can speak to. I think probably a lot of it has to do with your mind.
Yeah.
If you're feeling confident and you can walk around the house and whatever you feel confident and feel like you're riding good and you think what it should be like, or you're just like, I didn't ride very good away from my hand, or I had trouble with this or that. Well, you might want to go get on a couple bulls. It just probably depends a lot on I think most of it probably comes down to your mind.
What was it like for you, Don? What did you do?
Well, I like the practice bend, but then if I didn't, I'd really work out hard. I found that if I worked out hard during that time, wasn't going to go to the practice bend. I felt my body was keener and it keened my mind up. I felt good. So being in good shape makes your mind think. So if I wasn't getting in the practice bend, I'd be working out as hard as I could.
I think, well, like you said, a lot of it when you get to this stage, we're all good bull riders. It probably comes down to the thing between your ears.
Yeah.
It's whatever you do to keep that thing fired up and ready to go is probably most important.
And what are you doing? What are some of your things that you are doing?
Well, that's top secret. No, for me, it's most of it just a confidence thing. And this, like, I've always been my big thing I've always done at home is ride horse bareback, stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
That's how I taught myself how to ride bulls a lot of ways, was riding my horse bareback. I can ride one out. It's a real good bear. And that's just kind of been it. If I get up on my knees, keep my knees bent, sit square, and you have good timing and rhythm with that, just kind of like riding a bull.
And that's going to make the difference with you two guys too. Communicate and going to the NFR. You're going to feed off each other, and that's another one. Like working out. It's that's what comes between you two.
Yeah, no, I mean, our wives probably get sick of it, but even though we don't travel together, we still talk damn near every day, so they ain't wrong with that. But yeah, having each other there in Vegas, it'll make it easy, we definitely call each other out when one screws up, so it's hold each other accountable. So if it keeps your mind fresh to it, it's a big help.
And that's the thing that helped us out, me and my brothers. We didn't make excuses.
Right.
Like I'd come back and say, he rubbed me on the gate. And Bruce would say, or Jack would say, he didn't even touch you on the gate. You looked at the ground. There was no excuses made up. And that's like you just said, you got to give the guy a hack when he does, If you start making excuses, you're not going nowhere.
Yeah. You got to call him a loser when it needs to be said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like the award that you guys give out in the dressing room for whoever has to bring beer. That was probably something invented by Don back in the day.
It might have. It might have started back then.
There's a good chance, I think. Yeah.
One more thing I just was thinking about, Jordan, having been there and you had success at the finals, won a couple rounds at the NFR. What was your advice to Jared coming in when he made his first appearance last year?
I didn't have a lot for him. I know he's like you were saying earlier, we're kind of on the same program, and I know there's a little added pressure the first round because the pranks to fall for the rookies to fall off the first one.
Yeah,
It's not really bad. So I said, whatever you do, do not fall off the first one. And he did ride the first one. So I think my next piece of advice when things weren't going his way is you might have to pretend there's more pranks or something. You rode the first one really good. It just didn't work out. A lot of guys rode really good bulls, but you kind of have to have a short memory when things aren't going the best. He definitely knows he's more than capable. It's just one of those places. There's a lot of pressure, and there's a lot of pressure from a lot of people. Everyone thinks they're a rodeo coach all of a sudden that you see in Vegas that week. Everyone you don't really even know, they all of a sudden they know how to ride bulls better than you, and they're damn sure.
They're showing you in the trade show. Yeah, if you just did want to.
Exactly. Yeah. There's no shortage of that. So, you got to tell people to piss off a little bit, and sometimes, but like I said, you kind of have to have a short memory, and you got to take the good from everything. Even though if you fall off one, there still might have been something good about it. So, you got to, take the good out of the bad.
Okay, and Jared, I want to ask you before we go here about the all-around side of things. That probably became less of a priority when the NFR became a higher priority. I'm making an assumption, but
Yeah. That's something I might take a rip at again here later on. And now that they have Kenny McLean and the High Point and all that stuff, try and get him. I grew up, my dad team roped him, umbrella raced, and heck, we roped. I'll be honest with you. I was a team roper and a calf roper, and all through high school, went to college, and I don't know if anybody thought I was going to come back a bull rider and stuff. So team roping's a big part of my life and everything. And don't calf rope anymore. Bull riding and calf roping don't go hand in hand very good. Calf roping takes a lot of athletic ability, and bull riding's really hard on the limbs, so it's tough. But I think it's something maybe I'll pursue, especially with the jackpot world. The World Series and all them giving away all that money, and that's something I'll definitely spend a lot of time doing here in the future.
Awesome. Don, anything for these guys before they head into these next few weeks, all these finals?
Try hard and have fun and look after each other. That's the most important thing, really. It's the two of you guys are going to make you both successful. And I said that right from the top.
Yeah.
And I know when I travel with guys like that, boy, it's fun and you're going.
Awesome. Awesome.
Thanks, Don.
Okay, well, best of luck to you guys this week and in Vegas. Look forward to watching all along. Once again, Jordan Hansen, Jared Parsons, Donnie Johansen, thanks for being here, everybody.
Stop, drop, shut 'em down, open up shop singing. Whoa, no, that's a rough rider's roll. I'm going down, baby. Yo, street in a Range Rover, street sweeper, baby. Cock ready to let it go. Shimmy, shimmy, cocoa wood, listen to the plan. Light it up and take a puff, pass it to me now. I got that wood grain with the leather seats. I got the window so dark you need a flashlight to see me. Smoking on that Doja, four of my buddies in the back screaming no limit soldiers. 1, 2, 3 into the full snoom, doggy, doggy.
Well, thanks to everybody for making that one work this week. Appreciate Jared and Jordan and Don for doing the show. We're actually going to spend some time with Don in Phoenix here this coming week. Once the show's out, we're going to leave on Monday morning on the 4th and head down there for a while, go to the NFR for a little bit, and then come home for Christmas. So Mom's got a big birthday.
You got a bit of a role reversal. You're gonna be like a little roommate now.
I know, at Donnie's house, right? Isn't that kind of fun? Yeah, get some golf in. So for those who don't know, I took over Don's sales business. So I do sales for Canada West Boots and Montana Silversmiths. For those that might not know, most people know, but I'm the sales rep in Alberta for those two companies. Courtesy of Don, I took over for him. So worked for him for kind of like 3 years, and then and then took it over, and been rolling on it for a couple of years now. So gonna go spend some time with Don, get some golf in with him, and enjoy some warm weather kind of in that time of the season. So get a few days down there and hit the NFR for a bit. Yeah. And then my mom's birthday. She turned 70 on Christmas Day. So we're having a party for her on the 22nd and spending Christmas with her and my brother and my dad up there in Drayton Valley. So looking forward to it.
Gonna be awesome. Gonna be a good December.
What are you doing, Dustin? You got a big game on the 30th, but what do you guys got planned for the holidays? I know you're doing Vegas in January too.
Yeah, we're gonna go down to Vegas in January, watch Ali's brother play hockey down there. He's playing at ASU, so
So they play UNLV or what?
UNLV Rebels, yeah. So that'll be
I didn't know they
good.
had a hockey team. That's kind of fun.
Yeah, they got a really good hockey team actually. They play at Nationwide Arena where the Golden Knights practice, so it'd be a
Oh, really?
one. So it'll be a good thing there. But yeah, Christmas will be busy. Ali's gonna be at the store. She's gonna be busy there, and then yeah, our Roughnecks home openers December 30th. It's gonna be a dome for the holidays is our theme this year because
Oh, yeah.
we've got events like the 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st, and 1st between
And
Flames
the 27th too.
and the 27th. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be good. It's be a lot of Wranglers, Roughnecks, and Flames games.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna be fun. Looking forward to
And Hitman.
Yeah. And
All four teams. Dang.
yeah, it's a busy rink, and then our Roughneck season starts next weekend in Rochester. Then we go to San Diego the weekend after, and then a bye weekend, and then Christmas break. So exciting to get that season going as well.
What's your first trip with the team?
I'm gonna go to right after New Year's. I'm gonna go to Vancouver, watch
Yep.
some play up there.
Yeah.
Gonna try and hit, and then I'm going to Philadelphia and gonna go try and hit some buildings that are similar to Calgary's.
Old and dingy?
Rochester and San Diego, they don't quite have the draws or the big shows that some of the other teams do. So I'm gonna sit those ones
Okay.
up. But Vancouver's a big rivalry. Philly will be good. Probably go to Sask when they play
Yeah.
the Rush.
Okay.
So yeah, it'll be cool. Be excited to get my first season under my belt. So
I think I was trying to make a joke, but I'm not sure if you caught it. I was saying if you're gonna go visit some buildings like the Dome, you're gonna go look at some that are a little old and dingy and ready for demo.
just go look for anyone at the roof's caving in. But insider information, it's that new building, the design and all the work, it's full speed ahead in there. So
I believe it.
It's pretty exciting to hear the updates and what's going on with it. It's gonna be cool.
2026 move-in date or what?
I think it's the 26-27 season they're expecting to be playing. So
Yeah, so fall of 26.
yeah,
That's
it's
gonna be awesome.
coming really quick. It's gonna be cool.
There's some cool construction going down in Stampede Park, honestly, actually. Like it's looking pretty neat. That new BMO Center looks pretty unreal, so
Amazing.
pretty slick.
It's cool to think that like the architecture and the buildings that we get wowed by when we go to the big cities or bigger markets now is right here. Like my uncle's here this weekend and he texted me today. He's like, man, what is that new building beside the Saddle Dome? Like it's huge. And I was like, that's the BM. It's cool to have some of those things down here, and that whole area is gonna be really cool when it's all done.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think there's even some hotels and probably some more condos and stuff going in there at some point too, eh?
Yeah, it's gonna be really neat.
Unreal. Maybe we'll get to have a weekly convention rodeo someday down at the grounds. Wonder
Very
if that'll
cool.
happen. Be neat, eh? One more thing I wanted to talk about though, PBR Canada season. We wrap it up in Edmonton on the 18th of November, crowned the 2023 champion, but the 2024 season is already underway. Lloydminster just happened this weekend. Cody Coverchuk might not have won Canada, but he won Lloydminster, get the new season underway. And I wanted to talk about the Cup Series for next year. So we got a lot of cool stops on the schedule. If you haven't seen it yet, kicks off in Red Deer February 3rd at the Centrium. Then March 1st and 2nd, we're back to Lethbridge for like the 23rd or 4th or 5th year. Take a bit of a break till May, go to Brandon, Manitoba, May 25th. Then the next Saturday, we're back to the Budweiser Gardens in London, Ontario, June 1st. June 5th, it's Kingston, a new stop. And then there's another one that's in the works that still waiting on official dates for, but later in July, I think on a Thursday, we're going to Kelowna, Prospera Place, the Okanagan Challenge in July. Should be awesome. Then kind of another little summer break, Grand Prairie, the 27th and 8th of September, right the week before the CFR. So we'll go right from Grand Prairie to Edmonton. And then Medicine Hat is the 19th of October, Saskatoon the 25th and 6th, and wrapping it up in Edmonton, Rogers Place the 8th and 9th of November. That's the plan.
It's a good sked with some really cool stops.
Right? Yeah, it'll be a great season. I'm looking forward to seeing Kingston, somewhere that I've never been before. And like I said, Lloydminster just finished. But then you're going to Dawson. I don't know if we talked about that yet, but Dawson Creek PBR, one of Chad Best Plugs events on the 2nd, on this Saturday. You're heading up there on the GP Friday.
Yep. So we'll go up there, and that'll be, I guess, the second event of the PBR Canada season. So
yeah,
always a fun one. They always fill that place up there.
I've heard it's good.
That's one of my favorite arenas. Like, I'm surprised they don't have a junior hockey team or Western Hockey League team up there.
They couldn't get the people to come to it, and it was such a pain in the ass for travel, apparently. Hey, like because they wouldn't work for the WHL because there's nobody else that's close enough, right? Like, would it be Prince George is close, or like who else is even in the dub?
Prince George is way up in the northwest, so it's like the logical thing would that for them to be in the Alberta Junior Hockey League because their proximity to Philly and Whitecourt and those areas. But they had a deal in that arena with Hockey Canada as an official host building for a number of years. So yeah, it's owned now by that. I think it's Oakview Group, OVG, that manages it. So like it's just pristine. It's a beautiful venue. It's super nice, and it's great bull riding building for sure.
I worked the rodeo back in there in the spring, and the only trouble there was the crowd was a little bit light. Just didn't have a huge crowd for it, but yeah, I've heard the bull riding there is awesome, and would make a great venue for it. But yeah, it was kind of weird though to know that there was no hockey team because it wouldn't work for the dub. And like, did they have like maybe an AHL team there for a while or something? Like there was some different weird team that was in there, but they couldn't work money wise. Senior?
They had a senior team. I think they've had junior B, senior. They've had a couple cracks at different teams up there, but
can't get it to work though.
Get it. So when they had the Hockey Canada events, it was like the under 20 challenge and the World Junior A challenge and things like that. So
yeah, or like RBC Cup maybe or something.
Yeah, they had a deal to host one a year. So
what about like the AJ? You say like them being part of the Alberta Junior League would make a lot of sense.
They've explored BC teams in Alberta. They were going to do Cranbrook at one point.
Oh, really?
They left the Western League, so never rule it out.
I guess we'll see. Dustin, you got anything else before we wrap it up this week?
No, I'm all good, buddy. Been another good week, and looking forward to season 7 and some great guests and some great shows.
Yeah, thanks everybody for following along. Once again, 6 seasons down. This is the last episode of the 6th year of the show, going into year 7. On the next show will be middle of the NFR in Vegas. So stay tuned. Dustin, thanks for joining me. Thanks for being part of the show. And to our editor, Sean Morton, I think this is already 4 or 5 years that Sean's been rocking and rolling with us now. Storm, thanks for doing all the graphics and the video side of things. And Dustin, like I said, thanks again. And everybody will tune in a couple weeks. We'll catch up with you then. All right.
Up in Pocahontas, in the cranberry glades, ain't got bars nor the charge to call her anyways. My mind's a mile a minute, and my thoughts bark like hounds. I focus on my breathing and the universal sound. I think about my darling girl sleeping all alone. I pray the stars will shoot her all the wishes she can hold.